Franconia Ridge is one of the most exposed and fragile areas in the White Mountains, and it's also one of the most heavily trafficked. Spectacular views across the Pemigewasset Wilderness draw hikers up the Falling Waters Trail, Old Bridle Path, and Greenleaf Trail. The Franconia Ridge Trail, which stretches for almost 5 miles between Mount Flume and Mount Lafayette, bisects delicate gardens of diapensia, mountain cranberry, and alpine bilberry.
It's one of the few places in New England that has alpine habitat, so it is unique in New England.
Craig Repaz is a volunteer Alpine steward who spends time on Franconia Ridge each summer. The Alpine Steward Program, a partnership between the U.S. Forest Service, AMC, and the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, began in 2000 and recently expanded to include the summit of Mount Washington. Volunteer stewards spend summer weekends atop the ridge, talking to hikers about the fragile alpine ecology and leave-no-trace principles, recording hiker traffic, observing trail conditions, and monitoring alpine flora.
Who has been on the ridge on a weekend before? Okay. Now you've probably seen somebody up there with a uniform like this. We are volunteers, so we do not have any authority besides being a fellow hiker with an interest in preserving this. This is here because of people's efforts in the past to preserve it. So that is something that people have to be reminded of. Well, our focus is a lot of hiker interaction. We just want to have nice natural conversations with people and point out the vulnerability of the alpine environment. And also very important is to make sure that they're okay. We hike with extra food, extra water, a big first aid kit, and a radio, because a lot of people get up here and they get in over their heads. Really, we know we are out here enjoying the same environment, the same resource. So, we probably have a lot more in common, and just to make sure that the uniform is not something that gets in the way of understanding this commonality.
Throughout the weekend, Repaz stops to examine conditions on and near the trail, making notes that he will pass along to AMC's trail volunteer supervisor. Teen and adult volunteer trail crews and trail adopters can then be dispatched to work on the most highly impacted areas. Repaz also spends a lot of time undoing something that hikers frequently do without understanding its consequences.
When these cairns are built, they're built with large rocks in a cylinder style with a hollow center. What happens with these smaller rocks, it holds ice, so when there's wind-driven snow, freezing rain, etc., it just collects the ice and creates a frost heave, and the whole cairn can collapse.
Alpine stewards also contribute to AMC's Mountain Watch research. They observe the state of various alpine flora within several study plots on the ridge. Their data is incorporated into a large database that AMC's research staff uses to study climate trends and their impact on alpine vegetation.
This is an alpine bilberry, and you see that you're not seeing any flowers right now. You're seeing a few fruit that is green.
While Repaz examines a trailside tuft of Bigelow's sedge, 2 hikers pass behind him along a washed-out, off-trail section of the ridge. They had unknowingly left the trail, and, after a short conversation with Repaz, they retrace their steps and continue their hike toward Mount Lafayette.
You see, because of hikers and erosion, that this area is now all washed out, and there's no alpine vegetation growing here. So this is why it's important to have scree walls and hiker education.
Each Alpine steward spends at least 2 summer weekends on the ridge, roaming between Little Haystack and Mount Lafayette, and spending the nights at Greenleaf Hut. For them, it's a labor of love.
It's a phenomenal landscape up there. Being able to be a volunteer trail steward and in the trail program, it's a way of protecting something that is my home, it's my house.